Hello, vinyl community. Midge here, a guy in a hat. I'd like to talk about records, and this is the first of a series that I'm going to call Vinyl Curios. And I've been thinking about doing it for a while, and also because I picked up this record and I thought it fitted the bill. So basically, I thought about doing an irregular series of sort of strange vinyl. Basically, it's something that's a bit off kilter or a bit unusual, or has something in the packaging or something of the design that's a bit different. And this record fits in all the categories, to be honest. I thought this was a good place to start. And it's a recent release and it's a strange one, but I'm really enjoying it. And it's John Lennon's meditation mixers. Now, I'm not new to this because this has been around for a while. And if you remember, when they did the huge reissue campaign for John Lennon's Mind Games album a couple of years ago, this was part of it. And I saw it at the time and I thought that looks very interesting. I like the concept behind it, but it was extremely expensive. And I thought to myself, there's no way on earth I'm paying those prices. But this was one of those releases where I had sort of like my spidey sense was tingling, and I thought that's really a niche sort of product and it's not going to appeal to everybody, even if you're a John Lennon diehard fan. I bet that might end up in the sales. So I kept my eye on it, and fortunately it did. It retailed between £80 to £100 for a 3 LP set, which is a no way. And so I kept my eye on it, and it did start going down in price. And I was really fortunate just before Christmas to pick up a copy less than half price. So I was really, really chuffed about that. And I'll go into the price and would I have paid that if it was full price later on when I review it. So basically, this is a release that was originally issued through an app called Luminate, and it's like a phone app, and it sort of flashes lights at you, and it's meant to sort of relax you and make you sort of like in the right mood for sleep and relaxation. And this sort of tied into it. So Sean Lennon did a series of mixes for it, so it tied in with the app. So you listen to the music and the flashing lights would help you go to sleep, or I don't know, hypnotize you into buying a £100 3 LP set. I don't know, that might have been part of it. But this is basically the physical product that came from it. So it's available on the app, and it's available as this 3 LP set, but it wasn't released on CD at all. So what is it? Well, basically, as I said, it's a 3 LP set, and it just basically features the track Mind Games. So what Sean Lennon's done is a series of mixes involving taking stems from the original track. So he might take an organ line, he might take a guitar line, he uses John's vocals as well. And he's sort of made a series of mixes which are designed for like meditative purposes, relaxation, that sort of thing. So some of them are quite short, about 5 minutes long. Some of them are about 10 minutes long. There's 2 tracks on here that are about 25 minutes long. And it's just basically to sort of get you into a relaxation or a deep sort of meditative state. And I really liked the idea of it, and so I thought I was really curious, and when I heard a few tracks I sort of really bought into the concept. So but like I say, it was only the price point really that was putting me off. But to be fair to it, it's a really nicely packaged set. So you've got a triple fold out sleeve, which is nice. It's on this sort of silver mirrorboard vinyl, which is great. And if you ever get done by the police and they need a fingerprint analysis, you don't need to get ink on your finger. Just hand them over a copy of this, because your fingerprints just end up being all over it. So if you commit a crime and you own a copy of this, you're finished. But I'm not sure if that's good or bad, but you won't be meditating, put it that way, if you're in that sort of scenario. But all the LPs come in these sort of like really nice paper polylined sleeves. 3 LP set, like I said, 180 gram vinyl on this crystal clear vinyl, which is nice. So you can understand there's a lot of thought been gone into it, and that's probably where the expense lies. Also, inside the sleeves you get this sort of nice cloud sort of images. So a lot of thought has gone into the packaging, to be honest. And yeah, I'll just give you a brief synopsis of what the idea behind the album is. So in the sleeve notes, it says, the meditation mix is designed to put the listener in a relaxed and relaxed state of mind, using various sound design techniques and processes applied to the original multi-track recordings, complemented with added instrumentation from Sean, which I'll go into in a minute. The mixers create their own space while maintaining firm, authentic roots in John's original recording. Also, there are what they call binaural mixers on here. Now, that means, according to this, binaural versions of the meditation mixers contain a binaural beat, an auditory illusion created within the brain when the left and right ears hear two slightly different frequencies whose difference is perceived as a new frequency, which can activate different brain patterns for scientifically proven therapeutic effects.
What you talking about, Willis?
These are marked gamma, theta, beta, and delta. And if you look, it tells you the qualities of each one. Now, these aren't on all the tracks, it's just certain ones. So basically, you're meant to listen to the tracks, and it's meant to, these binaural effects are meant to do something to your brain. I'm not sure whether it was a way of trying to make people buy that £1,000 box set of Mind Games. But I have to admit, when I listened to these binaural mixers, I got a really sort of deep sort of sense of not really feeling anything, to be honest with you. But that just might be my brain. But they were relaxing, but I didn't sort of get any sort of qualities that are listed. Creativity, relaxation, visualization, whatever that is. Alertness, certainly not. Concentration, I didn't get any of that, to be honest with you. So yeah, these are mixers of, and they're a combination of Sean Lennon taking, like I say, stems of the original recordings. Like he might take an organ part, he might take a slide guitar part, and he makes long sort of mixes out of them. So they're like soundscapes in a way. They're not sort of like, you wouldn't recognise them as being from the Mind Games, apart from certain little elements or hooks that you might remember from the track. And you obviously get John Lennon's vocal from Mind Games drifting in and out. Sometimes he sings the whole song, sometimes it's just certain lines like "Yes is the answer" and things like that. But to be honest with you, it's really impressive how strong John's vocal for that track was when you actually hear them isolated on here. And some tracks, Sean Lennon just basically takes John's vocal and he puts his own instrumentation on it. So you've got like reverse piano, Wurlitzer electric piano, Celeste, guitars, Moog. So some tracks are just basically built around the original recordings or parts of them, and some Sean's just added his own backing to them. But they are recognisable as Mind Games, but only from the vocal. So they are like long, spacey type instrumentals, basically, with a few like of John's vocals drifting in and out. And I have to admit, on the whole, I've really enjoyed this album. It is really good. I mean, you'd think you'd get sick of sort of like all these tracks of the same track, Mind Games, going on, but they're all quite different in their approach. But they're all quite spacey, they're all quite, stretched out and relaxing. And yeah, I've really enjoyed this, to be honest. And what's unique about this package is on the last side, you get a series of locked grooves. I don't know if you can see that. There's like a series of locked grooves, about 2 seconds long. I think there's about 9 of them, which they've called mantras. So basically, one might be an element of the female backing vocals sort of going over and over. One's a bass line. One is John Lennon just repeating the word 9 over and over again. I mean, they're not particularly relaxing. In fact, some of them are quite jarring, but, it's another like nice gimmick that adds to the record. So all these 9 mantras at the end. I'll see if I can show you sort of like infinite locked grooves. So that's quite interesting. So yeah, all in all, it's quite a strange package. I really enjoyed it, I must admit. Would I have paid £100 for it? No. Would I have paid the amount I paid for it? just less than half price. Well, I did actually, keep up. I said that at the beginning, but it was still quite an expensive record. But I am glad I got it at that price. I wouldn't have paid any more for it. And I have listened to it quite a lot, to be honest. It's a great headphone album. I'm not sure if I would ever use it for like meditation or, trying to get to sleep and stuff like that. But it is a great sort of relaxing listen. And also, I was really interested in it in terms of it is quite a curio if you think about it, because we're getting to the point where there's very few Beatles sort of outtakes and things left, so you can't just keep repackaging. And it is quite interesting thinking that in the future, Beatles albums and the solo albums, they're going to have to sort of find new ways of presenting them and new ways of doing things with the material to keep people interested and to keep people buying. So like, in terms of Apple, they're definitely trying to go for a younger market now and trying to keep the Beatles story alive and the music alive by doing streaming and all these different elements, bringing the anthology out again. So, it is sort of fascinating in a way that, they are going to have to keep thinking of new ideas to, sort of represent this material to different generations, especially to the older generations who've got everything, several times over. There is going to come a point where they run out of material, so they are going to have to look at things like this. The Beatles' Love album, for example, where it's sort of like a remix album, it's sort of like, it's heading down that route. And a lot of people gave this sort of a lot of criticism when it came out and saying basically, would John have approved of this? And it's difficult to say, although I think maybe he probably would have. Obviously, the fact that his son was involved in it would clear a lot of barriers. But also, I think he probably would be quite interested in experimenting with this sort of thing. But yeah, it's a very interesting release. And like I say, a very expensive one. But I think I've got my money's worth out of it. And I think I would recommend it, but just not at that price. But it's definitely sort of like a curio. But I don't think it's going to end here either, because I was very surprised to see on the record store day list this year, they're going to do another version of this, but they're going to use the song Love. So again, it's another 3 LP set they're going to bring out for Record Store Day, concentrating on the track Love in terms of a meditation mix. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with it. I think it is following the same format of having the locked grooves as well on the third side. So will I buy it? Not 100 quid, I'm not. What do you think I am? Made of money. But I will definitely be looking out for it going down in the sales as well. But I'm not sure, if lightning will strike twice. But I would say if you could find this cheap or half price, definitely pick it up. If you're a fan of John Lennon, would you like it? I don't know. It's an interesting twist on a sort of an old formula. So yeah, would it appeal to everybody? Not really. It's probably because I'm a big fan of soundscapes and things like that. And I love sort of curios like this, like one-offs and strange off-kilter things by established artists. So yeah, it was right up my alley, to be honest with you. And yeah, I would recommend it. So yeah, that's my vinyl curio number 1. So we'll see what happens and see if there's any more in the future that I can dig out for you. But I thought that was a good place to start. So yeah, John Lennon Mind Games, the meditation mixers, good. I liked it.